And we're going. This is going to be a live video, so there could be some ahs and some buts and some pauses and some longer pauses while I'm switching the camera around, but hopefully everything works out. This is episode 1 of my project updates. And so we're here in the shop. I got the lav mic on, so hopefully you can hear me okay. And the goal behind my project update series is I'm hoping to do a video at least once a month, possibly twice a month, for 2 reasons. Number 1, I want to keep myself accountable. So I want to talk about the things I'm working on. And if I don't have anything to talk about, then it means I haven't been working on stuff. And so that keeps me accountable, along with people asking questions, checking on the status of updates on different projects. So I'm hoping that keeps me motivated to keep working on things, keep moving forward. I also, for the second reason, want to build more of a community around the channel. So I've got a lot of subscribers that have came in via shorts, and those seem to be less engaging than subscribers that come in from my other videos or know me from other things. And so I appreciate all my subscribers. The channel is currently at 1,556 subscribers, which is great. I'd love to build that more, but I'm happy about all the ones I have now. But I want to build more community, get more comments, get more reactions from people, and really get feedback on the projects that I'm working on, what people would like to see, what different type of projects they'd prefer. I've got a lot of woodworking projects on the channel, but I do things with the laser, which seems to be fairly popular when I publish those videos, as well as 3D printing type things. So I'd like to hear some feedback on what direction people would like me to go, if they consider and if they like seeing a variety of things, or if they like the woodworking more or the laser stuff more, things like that. In the end, I like to work on projects I want to work on, and so that's what I'm going to be doing for the most part. But I can definitely gauge, if people like learning more about the laser, learning more about various tools or items I sell or things like that. But in the end, the big thing is I want to keep myself accountable. So if you've been following the channel this past week or so, you're going to find that I put out a lot of shorts building the garden beds. I needed 2 more garden beds for our backyard. I need to get those set up, but they are built now. If you saw my last short, there was a series, I believe, of 8 shorts where I built those cedar garden beds. Mostly from cedar fence pickets. So it used 1 cedar 2x4 board for the posts, but the rest were cedar fence pickets. So I'll go ahead and flip the camera on here in a little bit and show you those, but I had 8 videos going through that whole process. And actually, if you go back on my channel farther, you're going to find a full video for a slightly different build, but it was a cedar raised garden bed. I learned a few things from that one that I've put into these beds, but it's almost exactly the same as that one. And I've got plans out for that one, and someday I'll probably adjust those plans to have the slight modifications to what I did in these newer beds. But I need to get a few things planted. I want to get some strawberries going so that they have time to grow this year. Next year, maybe we can get some strawberries, and I need to get one planted with tomatoes. And so I'm excited about that. Let me go ahead and flip the camera around, and I'll show you that stuff. So, I don't need to flip the camera. Okay, so here is the cedar garden beds. I had to do 2 of them, like I said. Right here, these posts, those are the 2x4 cedar posts that are ripped down the middle to make those posts. I've deliberately left those long. It looks a little odd probably, but I want to leave those long either to build a fence around, so I can put fence pickets between those, small fence pickets, or so I can put netting on those for the birds. We have a overly friendly neighborhood rabbit, and that rabbit likes to get in the garden and chew on some things, and so I've left those long so I can put some guards against that. So like I said, most of these are built from cedar fence pickets, so they're 6-inch cedar fence pickets, 2i, so if they're 6 inches wide, that gives me 12 inches tall. When you're doing a raised garden bed, you need 6 inches of soil for the plants to go into. So I'll fill this up probably to about 8 inches. Once that kind of compacts down, it'll be a little less than that. I find over the months, over the year, the dirt compacts down. And so it'll slowly go down. In the strawberries, I can add a little bit of dirt, but I can't add too much dirt. I cover up the strawberry plants. But those are these. So I've got trim on these. These are also cedar fence pickets. So I cut those down, and if you look under here, this is my modification. So I have some extra support on here, and this actually, on those cedar fence pickets, I cut off the dog ears, right? So on a fence picket, you have the little corner cut off, so I cut a strip of that. and that's the width of it. It's about 1 inch. And I cut those down and glue them on there. And it gives a little bit more extra support for this. Though I find the kids like to sit on these when they're in the backyard, and so the original one didn't have this extra support, and so it flexes a little bit. None of them have ever broke. But they flex a little bit, so it gives a little extra support. These are all glued and brad nailed together. Brad nail mostly just for the clamping pressure while the glue dries. Another key thing are these inner supports due to these longer runs. These boards are about 6 feet long, I believe, and so these longer runs, I add an inner support to keep those from flexing and bowing away from each other. So that's what those are there for, and that's just the scrap cedar glued and nailed on. And like I said, I have 2 of those beds, but they are fairly simple to build. You know, it takes double the amount of time to build them if you're filming everything and editing and publishing those out there. But if you're not doing that, then it really doesn't take that long. You probably could build them in a day. These took a total of, let me see, I got to count them up. 1, 2, 8, 9, 10. It took about 18 fence pickets to build these. Fence pickets were about $4 a fence picket. So it was just under, you know, somewhat under $100 to get those built together. It'll be a bit more in wood, but, or a bit more in glue and stuff like that. But other than that, it wasn't bad. I kept the projects under $100. So now we're over to the desk project. So, and you're going to see all of my cans back there. That's another project that needs to happen, is my cans go back. The desk project is one of these ones that drags on forever. I get motivated, I start working on it, and then I stop working on it. So that is one that I definitely could use. I'm going to get the camera back on the stand here. That's definitely one I could use a little bit of motivation on, and people bugging me about. There's not actually a lot left on it. Definitely need some sanding done on it. I have some work I need to do here. So I need to do some edge trimming on the plywood that's in here. And let me check my camera angle, make sure we're okay. Yeah, so I need to do some edge trimming on this. And then the other issue I'm having is these are soft closed drawers, and maybe I'm being way too picky, but it just barely isn't closing there, and I can't figure out the adjustment to make. This side pulls in fine, the bottom does not. And so I need to get that figured out. And then what we got going on here is I have a piece that needs to be cut, and it's going to go up here at the top. And then what that piece is for, let me go ahead and adjust the camera angle here. Bear with me. If I adjust my camera angle here, we can get a better view. So this piece is going to hang out here at the top to fill in that gap, but I've got a hidden lock which uses RFIDs. Which this needs to get cut out and put in here, right? And so if I have that on there, then you can use these cards or program other RFIDs. Let's see if it even works right now. We're beeping, so I haven't, oh, there it went down. So these RFIDs, and so once I get this cut away and it's closer to the door, it's reading it there too, it's beeping it. And so I need to get that installed. I need to get this piece cut to size and put in there. And I need to get that gap, like I said, that gap that's happening here. I need to get that figured out. I've tried adjusting that drawer slide multiple times, and it just does not seem to want to go. And then I need to sand everything. And I need to paint, of course. So let me go ahead and adjust the camera again. And we'll see how, we'll walk through a few other projects that are going on. Hopefully I can get myself framed in the camera properly. Okay, so our first project I got going on, or I should say the first project that's pending, it's really the second because the desk would be the first project, are these clean, dirty dishwasher signs. So I want to do a project on the laser. So let me go ahead and grab this one. And clean, dirty, right? So my goal here is to have a sign for our dishwasher that can be clean and dirty. This is my prototype. It's made out of basswood, all done on the laser, and just has a sliding door there, and we have some magnets on the back. So this can go on the dishwasher door, and pretty obvious if the dishes in there are clean or it's empty. And then if it's dirty, we can slide that over. But I wanted to make it look nicer. One of my pet peeves about laser projects is they look like they were done on a laser. And so I don't think I can totally get around that, but I want to at least make it out of nicer wood. So here we've got walnut plywood, and this one's finished. I should say like the finish is on the wood, but it's not glued together. I'm just holding it together with my hands here. But I wanted to make it look nicer, look darker. So we still got the basswood here with the sign because the engraving looks a lot better on the basswood. But the rest is made out of walnut plywood. I've put wipe-on poly on it, and we got the door sliding back and forth. So really, this one just needs the final gluing on it and the magnets added to the back. When I was working on this one, I thought, hey, this is kind of big. I don't know why I had to make it so big. So I'll eventually put a video out on this one, on how to make this one, but I thought, hey, let's make a smaller one. And so I dropped the pictures off of it, removed a lot of the margins, and now we have this one. And I noticed when I was setting things up for the live stream here that I glued this on horizontally instead of vertically. So I need to make a new one of those. But this will be a smaller one. This is probably the one that will eventually end up actually on my dishwasher. And I may put a few of the bigger ones up for sale on my website. Along with, I'll probably put up some laser cut files, some SVG files, so that other people can make these if they want. Like the magnets need to get put on the back there. And I'm considering, sometimes magnets can scratch stainless steel, so I'm considering, at least for the one for my house, put some thin felt or fabric on the back. So I don't scratch up the front of the dishwasher. But exact same concept, right? The door is just sliding back and forth on this inner frame. And like I said, this should be one of the bigger next videos that go out there. Okay, so that is that one. Let's see, I'm still learning about all these live stream features, so I'm checking out all the buttons that are on my screen here. That's that, okay, so that's that project. Next up is things I have up in the shop. So I just want to go through a few things that I have up on the online store. Number one, we've got my branded coffee cups. So there's a few branded items out there. One is this coffee cup right here, which is nice. It holds a decent amount of stuff. So if you head over to shop.controlaltmake.com, I'll drop a link to that down in the description below. You can pick that up. I've got some shirts, which I should be wearing one right now, but I'm not. And I've got a water bottle on there that's branding. So if you want to support my channel, those would be some great options to support the channel. The bigger thing that I have up on the shop are my templates. And I just released a new set of templates. So typically my sets are 3 templates, and these templates are for making the faces using your router on the wooden jack-o'-lanterns. So not a huge selling item right now, but once we get closer to the fall, those wooden jack-o'-lanterns like these here get extremely popular. Typically people make them using a CNC. So they CNC out the face, then you're able to put a little tea light under there. People put these on their front steps, and they get a wooden jack-o'-lantern. This one's Frankenstein there. I love him. He's one of my favorites. But I've got some traditional jack-o'-lantern style ones as well. They look great at nighttime. are a great seller. And so what I wanted to do is give people the ability who don't have a CNC to do these. And so you can actually do them on your router, on your hand router. I've got a DeWalt plunge router. A plunge router works the best. And so I have this new set of faces, which, like I said, 3 faces, and it allows you to do this part, right? So the front face of these. So this is called my Ghoul set. You can find this on my website. I've got shop.controlaltmake.com. If you prefer to use Etsy, you can look at Control Alt Make on Etsy and find these on there as well. But I've got this guy. This is one of my favorites. So like I said, this is the Ghoul set. So we got some scarier faces. I love this one. And then this one, which is a little kind of skeleton-y, more face, right? And so these templates are made out of 1/4-inch acrylic, right? 1/4-inch acrylic has the face, has the proper offset on them, so you can use a guide bushing. So if you just need to pick up a guide bushing, find one that works with your router. And you get 3 different templates that are designed to fit on a fence picket and enable you to make those faces. And then you can cut out, you know, the rest of the sides and the back and the top from that fence picket. And so I use same fence pickets that I use for the cedar garden beds. There's a fence picket just like this, 6 inches wide. And so the template is able to fit right on there. Lots of times I just cut it there and make it the whole height, but you can make shorter ones too by cutting it at different spots. And then I've got a design where I'm able to actually get 2 of these out of one 6 foot, yeah, I'm about 6 feet, so one 6-foot fence picket, right? And so, like I said before, let me put this back. A 6-foot fence picket, I think it's $4.50. It's going to depend on where you're at. And I didn't say those are 5/8 inches thick. And so a 6-foot fence picket is going to cost you about $4.50. You're going to be able to make 2, and you'll be able to sell those for anywhere, it depends on your area, $10 to $30, $10 to $25 a piece. So for a $4.50 fence picket or a $4.75 fence picket, you're going to be able to make anywhere from $20 to $50 off of selling those, depending on how you sell them. And so a set of these templates is going to run you around $65 or $70, depending on what set you're getting and what site you're using them, what you're getting them on. Free shipping on those, but that's going to get you, be able to make all those things. You can get a guide bushing set, which I'll drop a link to that information down in the description once this video goes live. You can get the guide bushing set for your router for fairly cheap and get a whole bunch of guide bushings for that. I did want to go through the tape I used. I have been using this tape, and so a lot of videos, if you check out on my shorts feed, you're going to find this tape here. This is a 2-sided tape that I used for attaching the template to the fence picket, and so I was using this. This works great. It's nice and sticky. It's nice and strong. The problem is it's hard to get it back off the template later, and I'd have to peel it out. I'd have to use a lot of mineral spirits on the acrylic template to clean the rest of it off, and it was kind of a pain. And so I picked up this tape, which I'll leave a link to it in the description as well. And this tape works a lot better. It's designed for woodworking, and it just comes off in one piece. Instead of trying to take pieces off and it tearing and then needing to clean it up, it comes off as one piece. And so I've been using that. It's 2-sided tape. It's designed for woodworkers. Like I said, I'll drop a link down in the description below on that one. But it works out really well. I'd have to say it's not quite as sticky as this stuff. And so I need to use it a few more times, but it seems to be working a lot better. And as long as you're keeping downward pressure on the template, you're good. With a couple pieces of tape, and I usually try to get 1 or 2 clamps on the actual template itself, which I typically have to move around. I typically have to move that around based on where on the template I've got the router going. But definitely go to my shorts feed You'll see from a few weeks ago shorts undoing this one and these other two here. And if you keep going back in there, you're going to see lots of shorts of using all the different templates. I've got 3 Halloween fall template type ones of the jack-o'-lanterns, 3 sets out there. I've also got some winter holiday ones. I've got some snowmen and a few Christmassy and a Christmas tree type ones for those winter holidays. That's the big thing there. There's some other stuff up in my shop. In case you're interested, we've got the board butter for those cutting boards. So this is homemade board butter that I make here. It's locally sourced beeswax as well as mineral oil that's in there. We're getting to be a season change here. We're going from spring into summer. Humidity is going to start picking up, and so you want to treat those boards. One, it makes them look beautiful, which is why I always make sure to give one of those to people who buy the bigger cutting boards from me. Makes them look beautiful, and it keeps the moisture out of them. So as the humidity is changing in your house, that wood's going to want to absorb more moisture. If it's absorbing the oil that's in here, it's not going to absorb as much of the moisture from your house. I'm going to drink here. So there's that. I do have some coasters out there. I don't have them sitting here. But I have some coasters up there if you want to pick up some coasters. I think there's one set up in the store. But that is the big updates for now. So, like I said, I would love feedback on how these lives go. I definitely need to make some adjustments on being able to figure out my camera angles and where the camera's pointing and where I can be to make sure my head's not cut off. But hopefully they're going smoothly. I'd love comments down in the section below about how things went, what you'd like to hear about, what you think of these projects. If you want to pick on me for needing to go faster on projects, feel free to do that. If the audio is terrible, feel free to let me know. If the video is terrible, feel free to let me know. We're sitting on an iPhone right now, but I'm considering switching to the bigger cameras. I should say the bigger camera. If I'm dragging on this desk, I really want people to let me know to keep me pushing on this desk because my daughter would like her desk done by the next school year since this school year is almost up. And for the most part, that is it. So check out my other videos, check out those more recent shorts. And if you're interested in my top 3 woodworking projects that I sell, go ahead and check out that video that's up here someplace. Give a click on that and you can see more of me talking about my top 3 projects that bring in the cash. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.